In this video, I'm going to show you how to create text gradients in CSS. Let's go. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adi Purdila, and in today's video, we're going to play around with CSS. More specifically, we're going to create some text gradients using a very simple technique. And as a bonus, we're also going to animate those gradients. Everything that I'm going to be doing today, including all resources, will be linked down below in the video description. And I think we should just get started. I'm going to be working in CodePen today because it's more convenient. And to get things started, I'll create an H1 with the class of gradient text. Obviously, you can call this whatever you want. And in here, I'm just going to say Ibiza Summer Sessions. Now, for the CSS, under the settings, I don't want any reset because it's not necessary, but I do want auto prefixer active. So let's just close that. And inside CSS, I'm just going to write some presentation styles. Here, I just imported a Google font called Rubik, and inside the body I set up some styles so that I can align this H1 right in the middle of the page. As well as on the H1 I set up a font family, font size, align it to the center, and set it up its weight and style. These styles right here have nothing to do with applying a gradient to the text. These are merely for presentation. What I'll be writing from this point forward has everything to do with applying gradients to text. So I'm going to target the gradient text, and we're going to do the following. First, we'll set the gradient as a background color on the text element. For that, I'm going to be using a gradient from Web Gradients. I actually talked about this tool, this collection, in a previous video on my channel on YouTube. You'll find a link in the video description and in the card. So I'm gonna just navigate this this website and just pick a color that I think would work really well. For example, this one is 024. I'm gonna copy the CSS, come back here, paste it in. So now we have the basis for our gradient. I actually don't want this to top. I want it at an angle, let's say 120 degrees, like so. The next step, and this is actually the key to this whole technique, is to set background clip to text. This is basically clipping the background, and it's only showing the background where you have text. Currently, we cannot see the gradient because it's covered up by the color of the text. So to show it, the third and final step is to set the text color to transparent. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? So again, 3 steps. Set the background image to the gradient you want, set background clip to text, and set the color of the text to transparent. That's all there is to it. I told you, it's a very, very simple technique. Now, we could end things here, but actually, there are a few more things to consider. You see, background clip doesn't work in all browsers. It doesn't work or is not supported by Internet Explorer, for example. So what do we do then? Well, in this case, here's what we do. We provide a fallback color. So we can say gradient text, color, and let's set that to, I don't know, maybe this one, maybe something that's a bit darker. So if I edit this, maybe something like this, right? And I'm going to paste that right there. So what this is doing is it's first applying a color as a fallback for older browsers. So the element gets the color, and then it gets to this point. If it doesn't support background clip or, linear gradients, that's totally fine. It sticks with this color. Now, it would also be nice to only apply these styles here if the browser supports background clip. And we can verify that really easy with a feature query. So it goes like this. I'm just gonna remove that for now. And we're gonna say this, supports background clip text, and I'm gonna paste that back in. So this basically means if the browser supports this property, and this is a valid value for this property, then we're gonna apply these styles. What we can also do here, just to make sure that our selection doesn't interfere with the color of the background, we can target that selection by saying gradient text selection, and we can set a text color, let's say white, and we can set a background to, let's say, the same color as the fallback. So now I get a different selection color. Finally, before we wrap it up, I just want to show you how to add some very simple animations to this gradient. You see, we cannot like transition a gradient from one point to another. CSS doesn't support that yet. However, what we can animate are certain background properties like background size. And because this gradient is applied as a background image, it means we have access to the background size property. So to get started, I'm gonna set the background size to 100%, and then I'm gonna create two animations. So I'm gonna say keyframes, animate gradient. We start with background size 100%. We end up with background size, let's say 500%. And I'm also going to create a reverse animation for this, which is basically going to say animate gradient reverse. 0 is going to be 500%, 100% is going to be 100%. So this is basically the reverse animation of this. So how does that work? Well, we'll go right here and we can say animation. Animate gradient reverse. We'll animate it over 5 seconds. Let's say ease and forwards. So this does a very simple animation when the text first loads. Let me actually change the duration here to 15 seconds so you can see the effect, right? So it goes from this. See how it's slowly changing the gradient? We're not actually changing the gradient, we're just making the gradient background bigger or smaller depending on the animation. See? Now the animation is finished. But let's say we also want to add that on hover. So let's go ahead and copy this. And I'm going to say gradient text on hover. The animation is actually going to be the normal animation, 0.5 seconds, ease forwards. So now when I hover, see? When I hover on this text, the regular animation gets triggered, the background gets bigger, and it gives the effect that we're actually changing that gradient. But in fact, we're just changing the size of the background. And when we're hovering out, yeah, the background goes back to its original size. Now, as far as browser support goes, the only thing you need to worry about is this background clip text. And if we open up Can I Use and we search for background clip, you can see that it has pretty awesome support. It doesn't work in Internet Explorer, but no surprise there, Opera Mini. But other than that, all of the other browsers do support it with or without the WebKit prefix. And there you have it. That's how you can apply gradients to text using CSS. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm Adi, and until next time, take care. In this video, we're going to talk about CSS. We're going to play with CSS. I'm Adi Purdila, and Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Can be found in a CodePen or in a pen on CodePen. That's stupid.